Hey everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Bloodline, Heroes of Lithas. Today's video is sponsored by Bloodline, and I have to say, I'm so happy that I got this sponsorship offer. To be honest, this was a game that I really wanted to play for a while. I've heard of it, it sounded creative, the graphics are beautiful, and there's just a lot we need to talk about today. So first, I should obviously mention that if you're interested in checking this game out, I do have a link in the description and the pinned comment, and you could use the QR code here on the screen. So I want to give you guys my honest first impressions of this game. And yeah, I'm honestly pretty addicted. I've been playing a lot. Let's start off with the graphics though, because that's the obvious. So this has definite dark fantasy vibes, right? It is wonderful, honestly. I was surprised. When I started playing it, I didn't expect it to be as good as it actually looked in the ads. But when you see the graphics of the animations of the summoning or them showing the characters moving, it's actually that good. This isn't the game that lies completely about what the game is going to be. Of course, every game has cinematic trailers and stuff, but the actual gameplay and the summons and the character designs really do look that good. So if you're on this channel, more than likely you came from Raid, and you might like that dark fantasy vibe. I quit playing that game a while ago, and we were always looking for the right replacement. For those that wanted to continue playing a game of the genre, but wanted to try something new, I mean, I was constantly getting asked, what should we play? What do you recommend? I don't really like those anime style games. Do you have anything with actually a dark fantasy vibe? Well, now I do, guys. Now I do. I definitely can suggest giving this game a try. The graphics are so fun, and I really think for people that come from the games that I started with here, for my YouTube and Twitch journey, I really think it would appeal to a very similar audience. Now, regarding the graphics, I mean, the one negative, of course, to some people, but it's actually a positive to me, is that this game is vertical. I know, a vertical game, guys. Everyone hates on them. But why? I actually think this game plays extremely well vertical. It feels great. I feel like it's easy to maneuver like with everything. I feel like when I'm playing on my phone sideways, I'm always like overly stretching and trying to do stuff. Like I feel like my fingers get a workout. But when it's vertical, it's such simple changes, clicks, I don't know, it feels so much better. And honestly, for the most part, I've been playing 99% on my phone. I think I opened it up on the computer within an emulator just to see what it's like, but I like it better on the phone, I really do. And personally, as someone who likes to play multiple games, I have to say that the vertical, while it may be a negative to some, think about it this way. If you're like me and you play multiple games, you might have one on your screen vertical and then one next to it that's horizontal, playing at the same time. That actually fits better on a screen than like 3 or 4 awkward little tiny windows all shoved on a monitor. I actually think it's so much better that way. So for me, the vertical is actually a plus. Now, talking about the graphics, of course, people care not only about the summons and the hero display screens, but what about the battles? I actually think the battles are beautiful. I was shocked when I saw how sharp and crisp and interesting the battle scenes really were. It kind of reminds me of EE, where you go and they have that pause for an ultimate animation, but this does it a little bit better. It's like such a dramatic, cool pause where it actually freeze frames like everything. Even if someone else is doing a skill, it like freezes the beam or that whatever of the skill at that moment and then does the animation. And the animations are great. The moves look really cool. The colors are very vibrant and everything is very sharp. So big thumbs up on the battle animations as well. So now let's talk about the storyline. So I guess it's kind of typical in the sense of you gotta save the kingdom, or you're the person that's the savior that's supposed to help figure out the big problem of the story or defeat the evil guys. There's always some sort of like overall general theme around that, right? Let's be honest. But I think they do a really good job setting the stage for the scenery, the events, and the dialogue is funny and clever, and it goes along with a lot. I mean, I think it actually feels very D&D to me as far as setting the stage for each new chapter, each new scene. So let's hear. Let's read off this one. You cross out from the northern plains, following the great river Edelwine, as the bright and rolling farmlands give way to great forests. The people too grow sparser as you pass through villages that seem to not have heard of war at all. At last you come to the mouth of the river, and just beyond, connected by a narrow bridge, a fortified town rises from the lake, and before it a vast encampment of men and siege equipment. Like, a lot of these little scene changes have such great descriptions like that, and they're quite funny. And the dialogue itself made me laugh and gave me Lord of the Rings vibes as well. I mean, let's be honest, I'm sure it's not just Lord of the Rings, but elves and dwarves hate each other. They even do a funny little bit of an Easter egg I think people would appreciate. So there's this quote that I actually wrote down and kind of found because I thought it was amazing, where, the nobody tosses a dwarf, and then they toss him, and they say, "Don't tell the elves, Gimli." Well, that happens pretty much in here too. They make a funny nod about not tossing a dwarf. The elf is like, "Don't worry, I could throw you over if I need to." And he's like, "No." It's just really cute. I thought that was a clever interaction. And I don't know. I like that little bit of an Easter egg. I remember the first thing I thought was like, wait, that feels very Lord of the Rings. So I think they kind of nailed the story, which surprised me. Usually these kind of games, people skip the story, but I actually think it's worth a read. It's worth a read. Pay attention to it, follow along. It's quite fun. Now, regarding the story, the only negative I would say is that the fights don't really follow the story, the actual battles themselves. Like, we're going to the elves' land. I can't remember what the kingdom was called specifically, but we're fighting orcs along the way. Of course, there's always orcs, right? Always orcs pillaging and ravaging the lands. And as we're going through, it's only orcs that we're fighting, yet you barely see a single orc in the battles. That would be my little constructive criticism, is at least for the campaign, let the battles follow the storyline a little bit more. I mean, I get it, there's only so many orcs in the game, so you couldn't have only them in the fights, but maybe at least make it to where there are a majority of orcs in every single fight. Just make them a little bit harder, or, some have a healer in the team, some don't, some have a tank, some don't. Mix in something that makes a little bit sense to go along with the storyline, and not just completely random champions that have nothing to do with the story. If we're going through fighting some orcs, give me some orcs. If any of this is sounding extra fun to you, make sure you do use that link in the description or the QR code on the screen. I think the biggest thing that sells this game is the unique marriages and hybrid system. I was instantly curious when I heard about this game a while ago because of that. And I have to say it's fun and it's super creative because you're not just dealing with, here are 50, 100, 200 characters in a game. Make teams out of them. It's so much more than that. You can pick the traits you want for your specific main characters that you're using for fighting, and you can breed them with other characters and try to get a trait that you want along with that other trait. Like, it's super, super fun. And not only is it the traits, it's also the appearances. So here, I actually have to show you guys this one. This is quite funny. I forgot to say this earlier. I meant to say this earlier. Guys, don't judge my account. It's hilariously a hot mess, but kind of on purpose. I didn't overly worry about making the right decisions per se. I just wanted to have fun and experiment and test things to see how they're working. So most of my fight scenes, you're not even seeing a single tank toward the end because I didn't build any because I didn't have any good ones. And you're also probably seeing some people that were married that you're like, why would you do that? But we had to have some fun, like with this guy. I had to see if I could get the purple skin on my Dravapala, and well, I did, and it's amazing. But that's part of the fun. So not only can you try to get the traits you want, but you can try to get the appearances you want as well. By going I mean, it could take a while to really get your exact thing because it's super RNG. You can select one trait of your main character that you're marrying, and you can get rid of one. And then which trait do you inherit from the partner is random. You can inherit the main one that actually gives you something special, or you can inherit the meh. And then in that case, I think you don't inherit the appearance as well. But I love this. This was so much fun. And honestly, I started playing around and just marrying random characters just to see how they would look. So far playing, it seems like they do great with their events as well. There's a special event that goes along with these unique heroes that are currently like the rate up banner, I guess you could call it. And it has its own theme with like the springtime, of course, as it is right now. It's really pretty for one, and I think the events look great. So far, you have a lot of opportunity to get free resources just by doing some basics. Or if you do some summons for those characters, there's a special Ascension event where you can actually get extra materials just for building up one of those characters from that banner as well. But I like the system for events so far. There's actually, I think the more I played, the more I would accidentally find out I was missing even more free resources, even more events. There are a ton of a variety of, I guess, missions, quests, achievements that you can get, not just the basic dailies and basic achievements, but there's so much more that allow people to get a lot of resources for free. Speaking of resources, this does have a lot of idle RPG aspect to it, which I think is great too. So there's like the collection and the campaign. That's the resources that you're grinding out, I think, from your district. And then there's also within the district, you collect taxes from your citizens, and that's some coin, of course, as well. So that's nice to have a bit of an idle RPG aspect when you wake up and you come to open the game for the first day. You have a whole bunch of resources, including some gear and other fun stuff that can help improve your account. So you don't feel like you're waking up to nothing. You could actually see if those resources you got can help you improve before you even get started. I guess the other thing to talk about would be the PvP. So there is a guild battle system. You are also in guilds with people, of course, too. It seems like the setup for the guild wars type scenario is only periodical. It's not all the time, but that's fine. There's, of course, a boss to fight for your guild on a daily basis to help get resources as well. You get some chests. There's also some fun stuff interacting with the community, like banquets. You can host a banquet and play mini games. You can try to spin and get bonus resources for your own account as well. And then you can go visit other people's banquets and you can give them resources and play the mini game through them and try to compete for the highest score, which I like it. It's a brain teaser memory type game. So you could do that a few times a day, and that's just another little fun aspect to give you something different to do just besides pushing like a dungeon or the campaign. And of course, there's Arena. So with the Arena, it's full auto for the basic Arena, which is fine for me, honestly. It kind of challenges you to be able to put together a lineup that actually can win on full auto versus, I feel like games that have Arena where you can manual, when someone else is setting a defense that is just there and will go on auto, that's not really fair, is it? It's either we're both fighting live or we're both not fighting live. So I actually much prefer this system, and I think it's really helpful. I think it's logical, right? I mean, it's not really fair to say you're better than someone if they're just sitting there on an auto with their defense and you're able to make decisions live. So I think the system for this is pretty perfect. And the battle looks cool too, graphic-wise. We cannot leave this video without talking about our gorgeous companions. Besides the marriages where you can create different characters, you also are going to be like mating with your companions. I choose to mix it up. I got some gorgeous ladies and some handsome fellas in there. I think it's so much fun to have this aspect. I like my waifus, not gonna lie. I guess I got some husbandos as well. I think that's the word. But I think these characters are beautifully designed. I'm so impressed. And I love to see for the bloodline which we're gonna get. Are we gonna get a baby boy or a girl as our heir? And then of course there is the system with the heirs where you raise them up by interacting with them and you can see what they're gonna get for their traits. So they kind of become food, which is really important in this game. You want to make as many babies as you can as fodder to level up your higher level champions because you need fodder to increase their rank. And there's also some sexy prisoners, let's be honest. We interrogate the prisoners until they eventually join our side. And so they too become fodder typically as well, which we all need that. We gotta advance our characters somehow. So I think they do a good job with the variety of ways to improve your account, to interact with characters and feel like you're immersed in a world and feel like you have, I don't know, yeah, just more control over what's going to happen instead of just, here's a character, here's the gear, make something happen. You can control the way that your battles play out based on marrying by the traits. You can have fun with just the appearance side of thing, trying to get stuff that brings you joy when you open up the screen. And hell, I love my character. She is so pretty, which just reminds me I was going to do this video with my hair done just like my character and be a little bit cheeky, and I totally forgot. It's fine, maybe a future video. So make sure you guys download this in the link in the description or use the QR code on the screen if you want to check it out and play along with me. I have to be honest, guys, I'm addicted. I'm still playing. I don't have to be still playing this to do this video and share this game with you, but I am because I really like it. So I want to know, you guys tell me, do I keep going? Do we make another channel for this? I've already got a backup channel planned to start posting content regularly for Bloodline, and I think we should do it. But I want to make sure you guys are going to play along with me, so join me for one. I feel like I get really lucky with sponsorships, and it's how I found a lot of my main games that I play. Sponsorships. Sometimes it's something random that someone tells me to check out and I do, and I'm like, holy cow. Other times it's this, and I really like it. So we might give some regular content a try for this game. I can't see myself not playing this every day at the moment, so maybe you'll feel the same. Give it a try. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.